Hello, and welcome to this session of WorkPlace U. The topic of this training is storytelling through case notes. During this training, you will learn how to capture and record valuable information from your conversations with customers and develop an understanding of the importance of telling your customer's story through your case notes. We'll start by reviewing the importance of case notes. If it isn't in the system, then it never happened. No matter which office you're in or which database system your office uses, this statement is true. If we aren't remembering to update our database after meeting with our customers, then how can we tell the story of our customers? There are many reasons why it's important to document and keep track of activities of our customers. Documentation provides an opportunity to frame our case and justify decisions or advice we give to our customers during our meetings. Documenting our activity holds not only yourself accountable, but it could also hold your customer accountable if they need to complete an activity before your next meeting. Documentation also helps to improve quality control in your office. This gives management a chance to develop policies to ensure each staff member is writing their case notes in a similar manner in which everyone can understand. Keep in mind that we are telling the story of our customer from beginning of working with them to the end when they secure employment. It's important to have a narrative of all the activities and events arranged in a sequence which makes sense to not only yourself, but to anyone who could be reading your case notes. Start by asking yourself if your note is noteworthy. The information in a case note and the format you will use depends on the purpose and type of case note you are entering. There are 5 categories which can help you to decide if the conversation or information provided by your customer should be entered into your database. These categories include the customer's demographic information, data element validation, program eligibility and enrollment, service planning, entry and tracking, and any and all outcomes. Think of your case note sequence as a timeline of significant events. Start with the reasoning for enrolling a customer in a program and any assessments you have provided to the customer in order to justify the enrollment. Be sure to make note of any completions of training and education programs, referrals to partner agencies, group activities or workshops attended, challenges or barriers that may arise, disciplinary actions if necessary, outcomes, whether they are positive or negative, and finally, reasoning for closing the customer's case and date of exit from a program. Utilize your case notes to track the goals and progress of your customer. Describe what the goals of the customer are by answering what are the expectations of the customer and what steps have they agreed on to achieve their goals. Report on the progress the customer has made towards their goal. Is your customer fully engaged in the process and are they following through after receiving feedback and setting their goals? You also want to report on the accomplishments and outcomes of the customer. Have any of the previous barriers been removed in order to achieve their goal? Ask yourself if you have verification of your customer's outcomes in your database. Finally, be sure that the program exit is appropriate and justify in your notes why. Each case note should be written in the same manner and should build upon the story from the previous note entered into your database. Start by identifying what type of contact and briefly detail what was discussed. Note what your participants' progress is in the program and use your notes as an agenda to set up next steps. When reviewing your case notes, make sure you have answered all of the following questions. Who did the contact involve? What was the subject of the conversation? Where did the conversation take place? When did the conversation occur? Why did the contact happen? And how was the contact made? Following the who, what, where, when, why, and how method will ensure your case note tells a story in a sequence which can be followed by all. It's important to enter any case notes or information into your database on the same day. Practice entering your case notes either immediately after your contact with the customer or before starting another significant activity, meeting, or project in order to ensure you don't forget any important information. All case notes should be updated into your database before you leave your office for the day. Once we've figured out the plot and sequence in the story, we can have a better understanding of what makes a good case note. Clarity is key. Your case note should be written in a manner which is clear and understandable by all. Use common English vocabulary and keep in mind the difference between acceptable and unacceptable acronym usage. Keep your notes to the point, ensuring they are relevant to the contact with the customer and avoiding your personal opinion. Your notes should tell the connection between any assessments and outcomes of your customer. Use your notes to explain the needs and activities and services provided to the customer. Remember to keep your notes objective by thinking intuitively, writing objectively, and only discussing your professional opinion. All notes should follow a storyline or sequence, keeping a record of the service delivery and status of the customer in a manner in which anyone could understand and possibly step in to assist the customer in your absence. Now let's recap with some of the do's and don'ts of writing case notes. Your case note should reflect the facts only. This means you are recording only behaviors you have observed and statements you have heard. Do not diagnose a customer, but record all facts accurately and completely. Avoid using judgmental opinions, stereotypical comments, or any offensive statements, and do not write in third person. Practice using clear, simple, and concise language and keep it professional. It's important to continue to protect all personally identifiable information, such as Social Security numbers or profile identification numbers. Finally, before finishing your note, proofread it and ask yourself if it makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Please scroll down to complete the Storytelling Through Case Notes quiz. If you have any questions on the topic discussed, please follow up with your supervisor for additional guidance.